little bit of infrastructure to these grassroots esports, you're going to want to check it out, uef.gg. But do that later. We're going to get into grand finals now. ZSS versus the Cloud. Steal your swords and welcome to grand finals here at DNA.EXE, the final destination for game number 1.
It's finding a little bit of a way in there, Shadow Man in top left corner. But like you said, right here, grand finals, game number 1, we got Webb versus Light. Webb willing to run it back to FD, even after what we saw earlier from that Roy, and we're seeing Lights going over to the Cloud. This is going to be something where if you want to get to the ZSS, you got to earn your way there. And I'm not too surprised to see that the ZSS will come back. We thought, even though the set went 3-1, Webb held his own the entire time throughout that match. Obviously, Lights came out on top, but this ZSS has proven time and time again, as we've seen progressively evolve, that it can handle the likes of Lights. We just got to see if he's able to close out the match first before Lights get the hold of him.
Oh, yeah. The perpetually proven prowess of Lights. I wasn't even meaning for that alliteration. I'll be completely honest with you. But there are very few things that Lights does without intent. However, WebJP going with this ZSS and making no mistake there, taking that first stock off of this Cloud that we did see in a few grand finals before. But the difference between the past grand finals and this one, in Lights' mind, Ajax, is that this one, he's looking for a victory.
Exactly, and also just looking for that extra cash at the end of the bank right there. You got that pop bonus online, and when you're up in sets, when you're on the winner's side of grand finals, you can afford to go for something like the Cloud in this matchup. We've seen a Cloud in the past, not nearly as often like we said as the other characters, but Lights just so versatile with so many characters. Good call, trying to look for the early edge guard right there, trying to go for the neutral B as well to force Webb into a scary situation. I really like the single hit side B or the double hit side Bs they're trying to go for by dropping off stage. A little bit scary considering the recovery on Cloud, but Lights definitely very comfortable in it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's Lights telling WebJP via that Blade Beam, hey, this is where you're not going to hang out. And that down air is going to catch WebJP at the ledge and take them down to the final stock of this game number 1. Final destination, I can only imagine, is a bit of a tough ask for ZSS, and you might as well have the Buster Sword of Cloud Strife to assist you in catching these landings of ZSS. But WebJP, all things considered, not negotiating it all that poorly.
Yeah, like we said before, I'm still very surprised at the willingness to go here. Obviously, Webb feels very comfortable with the stage, and sometimes stage comfort can outdo things, even regardless of the fact that this is one of the worst stages for ZSS. But like you said, one of the things that tells a tale in this matchup is getting caught on landings, but also one of the tales consistently throughout the success of ZSS is getting caught with the paralyzer at the ledge, and Webb is going to bring it back to one stock piece.
It's one of those things. I mean, Paralyzer can be so good, but this is not necessarily a character with which you zone. It's not a quote-unquote projectile character, but man, when it hits flush. And WebJP taking advantage of that particular fact and taking it to one stock apiece. That dash attack could well be the great equalizer. I can definitely see this match ending courtesy of that big old Russian with that big old sword. But it's going to be the back air that does it instead from mid-stage. That's about the percentage where you're going to kill ZSS from mid-stage, to be completely honest. And yeah, ZSS doesn't like getting hit in general, and certainly not with a big, meaty back air like Cloud has.
Yeah, one of the things, too, that I was actually genuinely impressed by from Lights throughout this set is the straight-up confidence to jump from ledge and go for things like fair against a ZSS. You're staring them down in the corners. ZSS loves sparing you there. They're looking for the spot dodge for that down smash. They're looking for the jump with that short hop fair. And you just consistently meet them with your own disjointed hitbox that is huge and backs off Webb. So the fact that Lights was able to consistently unbury himself from the ledge, which is really exactly where Webb needed to keep him, really kind of made a big difference throughout this match. I'm curious to see how Webb handles that in these upcoming matches here, whether we see them rocket out still on this stage, or if we see possibly a switch over to a different character. I don't think we see a switch off to ZSS, though, anytime soon, to be honest, because it's just he's been kind of consistent with it, and we're going to see the run back like so. I think maybe if this one goes really bad, maybe we see a switch to Lucas, but from the looks of things, we're going to be seeing Webb ride it out. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it could be a stage switch.
You just never know. I mean, especially with individuals like Lights and Webb JP who have so many characters in their arsenal, and we did see that Lucas get warmed up, and indeed, that is why. You know what? Sometimes the starter doesn't work out. You got to bring in your ace reliever, and Lucas going to be looking to throw some fastballs to Cloud and see if Webb JP can make
You know,
it happen.
honestly, I respect how long Webb was playing out the DSS throughout these sets. But to be honest, on a stage like this, especially, obviously Cloud has that disjoint, and it's very good against the PK kids in general. But you have that retreating fear. You have that up-close boxing game with that down tilt and jab, and you have the ability to possibly snipe out some early recoveries with that down smash like so. So you have to be very careful there, and that's going to actually force out the limit. Webb already waiting for the recovery from Lights, and this is working completely different compared to the last game already.
That is just to be expected sometimes. We are going to see Webb JP take full advantage of everything that this character has to offer, and that is how you take over a game and establish yourself in a set. Webb JP says game on, answering the call in this game number 2.
That is so hard to deal with. You not only expect, all right, how do I get by one PK Thunder? Then all of a sudden, you just get bounced on and then they go for another one. It's just like, how do you deal with that situation? So that was a great job from Webb capitalizing on that. Also catching the mistech there. Again, this is looking very good. One of the things that you usually have to do in these matchups is you have to kind of retreat away with these big sword aerials. You need to kind of camp a little bit almost away from Lucas and catch them pulling the trigger early. But the way that Webb has been playing, he recognizes every attempt that Light has gone for so far to try and do that and meets him immediately with a PK fire. So it's in one of those easier said than done situations that's really just working out really well for Webb.
Yeah, but then again, it's life isn't all that bad when you have a dash attack like Clouds, and certainly that down air where you can catch it at ledge. I mean, Webb JP careening towards it, but needs the Buster Sword instead. That up smash. Oh,
Hold on, I gotta look on Twitch for this one. Did he slide through?
He's switched your footer out, man.
Threw him with the down tilt with that up smash. There was like a small clink at the startup of it, and he just went through. I did not know that interaction was a thing, but great call from Webb to realize that. And definitely something that's got to be scary now if you're Lights, because you think you could get potential run-up punish with that down tilt, and next thing you know, you lose your shot.
I mean, that was nothing short of impressive. I guess we guess that's how we can describe it. But Lights is always one to try to work themselves back into the stock, and maybe you're not taking the stock with whatever limit you're throwing out here. But unless you run off and do some ratchetness like that, the cross slash is going to connect, and you have to be fearless in the. When you're facing down your last stock and potentially drawing the stock up at 1 and Lights, yeah, that's a steady hand on that sword, isn't it?
Yeah, great job from Lights also answering back, somehow just barely missing that PK Thunder 2 recovery. But, you know, we were looking at what could have been a very nice lead from Webb, trying to use the reverse with the PK freeze. And you just get caught by the limit, and that is a tilting option that gets caught when you're off stage like that. You think you can be safe, and just getting caught there once again by the reverse neutral beat. You have to be so careful here. This could be kill percent pretty much at any point. Looking for that up smash. You already know the Clouds are going to start swinging that back air when your back's up against the wall like this. I am very, very scared for Webb in these situations, but Lights looking to seal the deal right now, possibly on an anti-air up smash if Webb happens to short hop a little bit too much in his face.
Yeah, and Lights, though I wouldn't even necessarily say you're playing with any fear, does have to be careful. Really, one wrong move, and Webb JP is going to punish you and then some. One of the people that we've seen throughout DNA that has gotten so much mileage off of another's whiffed options is the back throw is going to put Webb JP into a disadvantageous position. Now, Webb JP is able to garner a little bit more stage advantage and just within range to get back with that non-limit break up B is Lights. But yeah, they're just kind of throwing haymakers, and whoever is able to get that option off stage is going to...
My goodness. The fact that Webb walked away from that, only taking a tip of the bottom hit of that cross flash, but gets dash cancel absolted by Lights anyways. So even though Webb was able to somehow get the wall bounce, get away from that whole situation, still gets caught and is now down 2 games here in Grand Finals. Has to win out from this point and get the reset in order to keep it alive, but hasn't even been able to force so far the switch off of this Cloud. This Cloud has been putting in work by Lights. What do you think, in your view, by comparison, because that match was still really close, but what does Webb need to do to somehow get this set back?
I mean, getting more off of punishes. Lights has been showing a willingness to challenge Webb JP in the air. That's how they got 2 of those stocks. First, off of Webb JP's approach to ledge with the down air. Sometimes you just got to stick the sword where the child is going to be, and that's how you're going to win. And that makes sense. But I think we're going to see it right here. That runoff cross slash limit break, and that was how you evened it up. That's one of those deals where Lights has not been able to get the kills needed to really establish themselves as a threat in this set. And now as you have to do it in 3 successive games against a top 10 Wi-Fi player in the world, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but Webb JP definitely has some thinking to do, and certainly some consideration as to the character choice, because the Lucas just did not work. And while it was not beaten handily, Ajax, certainly a lot was accounted for by the Cloud of Lights.
Yeah, one of the things too, it's not even necessarily the stage. I mean, I would like to see a change of scenery myself, but I think the stage in itself hasn't really been a major detrimental factor. It's just like you said, like we saw in winners finals, every time they're in a scramble situation or they're in a spot where they've been able to kind of like just clank with each other a lot, we have seen Lights came out on top more often. But we're actually going to see the switch off. We saw this Peach earlier from Lights against Skew in winner's side. Now we're going to see the Peach come out here on the switch to PS2, no longer running it back to FD.
And now it's going to be on Webb JP. Answering the call at the beginning of that game number 2, garnering that quick little advantage. But again, it's Lights who is so willing to stick with the game plan and just maybe take 30 where you take 20. That still means that you're getting a positive differential. And no matter how slowly you work your way back into the game, you're still working your way back into it. And certainly patience is a virtue when you're playing with Peach.
Exactly. That's one of the few characters you want to make ZSS patient play style work the most. You want to play that anti-float game. You want to stay back with things like so. You want to shoot out that retreating laser, that retreating tether and the side B to force Lights to respect you on the ground and good a catch right there with said retreating there into that backer. Going to close that stock out. Looking very good, but also, again, Lights very good at calling out these jumps at the ledge, like still looking for one right there. You got to be careful in those spots, otherwise you can lose that spot.
Those forward airs coming in handy for Webb JP, who, let's be real, I think it's been made pretty evident here by Lights that Webb JP is pretty keen on jumping, and Lights been enough at calling those outs. I mean, it makes sense. You're a ZSS yourself. You kind of know how to catch jumps, and that's really what your character lives and dies on, more or less. But now you're the Peach fighting a ZSS that has taken a game off of you, though I wouldn't say that you're necessarily living in fear of it. But you're still getting the advantage garnered on you. I wouldn't say that Webb JP is styling on you, but the potential is always there, especially with one errant aerial or boxing option on the ground. Taking the 2 stocks apiece. Lights is still very much in this, but Webb JP, I'm not really sure if this is Webb turning a corner, but we're seeing a little bit more of an educated ZSS here than we did.
Well, actually, it's something I've noticed a bit more as it's gone. I mean, granted, you're playing a nice patient playstyle. It seems like Lights has been getting a bit of a hold, like you said, on that anti-air game. The Cakes needed 2 back air out of that situation to get that first KO. But behind 32%, 89, not a huge lead differential between that of Peach to ZSS, so you got to be careful. If Webb commits a bit more to just staying almost counter running the clock. Like, I know that's not normally the thing you want to hear, but you catch that one mistake and all of a sudden you get that paralyzer taking out that stock. I like this commitment to the defensive style that Webb has been doing because it's really paying dividends right now in this matchup.
And really, you kind of have no choice, especially when if this Peach can turn on the Jets if you want, and all of a sudden it's PSS potentially being suffocated, which is not a position with which one might be familiar, and that's I don't think you want to be dealing with anything out of the ordinary if you're Webb JP right now. The side B is going to connect. It must have been the very last active frame of the hitbox. I'm not really sure because that thing looked like it was going the distance across the stage. And either way, it's going to take Webb JP down to their tournament stock.
You preempted that interaction with the best possible statement. You don't want to get hit by something out of the ordinary and not something you're normally used to seeing. Is a Peach pulling out that mid-screen anti-air with that side B. They pretty much only look for that in the guaranteed situations or usually on occasion off stage. And after holding on to it throughout this entire match so far, Lights not only able to take that stock, but now actually taking the lead. A little bit of help from RNGesus, but not going to get the hit with the Stitch phase. This match has become that much more stressful. You have to be careful like that, though, and he's going to miss the back air, and that might potentially cost Webb if he's not able to get another situation like that to close out this game, because that could have been the game right there.
I mean, that was we saw Peach's life flash before her eyes. I don't know how that was a miss. I thought that was 2-1. To be completely honest, but
yeah.
JP is going to try to exert this stage control as Lights is able to get back onto the stage, able to get the back throw and the bomb.
Oh my God, it somehow
finished, but not going to happen for Lights just yet. Dash attack killed off of the top.
That dash attack was as fresh as can be, as fresh as that old turnip at the very end, staring down Webb as he went off the top of the screen and said goodnight. Not only do you have two situations in a row where you have not only a Stitch face that you're staring down, potentially that could steal the game away, then you have to worry all of a sudden about a bomb, and then you find yourself on stage trying to find a way back in, and then just get caught off guard with that very fresh dash attack. Like we saw, Lights did exactly that same thing to close out the winner's side of winner's semis against Skew. Held on to that dash attack the whole time to get that fresh KO with it. Really well played by Webb trying to keep in, but once again, Lights just cruising through, gonna take it now in grand finals 3-0 over Webb.
Yep, and it was their third grands in 4 tournaments. Third time is a charm. Lights taking home first place at this DNA, and we could talk potentially about the DI on the last stock there from Webb JP. We could talk about maybe getting a little bit of time to get going in game number 1, but all in all, a great showing from Webb JP, never giving up during the course of that grand final set, and indeed looking like game number 2 was well in hand. It wasn't Webb JP. That was not Webb JP losing the set 3-0. That was Lights winning the set and garnering whatever advantage that needed to be done, and really earning that victory. So congratulations to Lights, and certainly Webb JP and Skew for solid second and third place finishes in what was a fiercely competitive bracket, and definitely one that was worthy of the commentary of Ajax for certain. And thanks to you for joining us as well.
Oh, I'm glad to do so, man. This week has really been my first kind of comeback to the commentary scene, pretty much since Collision Online. I've had, obviously, we've all been going through quite a bit with COVID and such, and a lot of personal things hitting us in life. But what a great tournament for one to come back to. Glad to get to hear your voice again, not only just listening, but actually being able to talk to you along the way for what was a great tournament. You saw the run from Skew, the great play from Amaryllis' Robin earlier as another token to pay attention to, EQ and such. But coming down to the wire, you're seeing the great set between Webb and Lights there, but of course, Lights able to take it once again. Like you said, consistent victories, top 10 Wi-Fi player in the world right now, and just putting on a show. I want to give real great shout outs to everybody who played tonight, and all of you who were in chat who stuck around through the entire tournament. Thank you for every follow, every sub, everything. It's all appreciated. And of course, like you said, the sponsors to the tournament as well.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and run those ad slides right now. UEF.GG. Master Hand Gaming being one of the founding partners in this esports infrastructure, giving a little bit of stability to the grassroots scene that we know as Tri-State Smash. You want to start your career in esports today? UEF.GG. that's a place to start. It provides earning opportunities for players, commentators, organizers, live producers, and so much more. So check him out on the Discord. Hit him up for a little bit more information. Discord.link/UEF. Register, play games, earn credits. UEFGG, proud partners of Master Hand Gaming. And if you're doing nothing on Sunday, check out the Glintendo circuit. It's 12 races of absolute madness every single Sunday. That's every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Ends off at 8. That's the tournament code right there. Usually we throw out the Smash.gg link. No, all you need is the tournament code, and we rely on your streams in order to do the broadcast. So definitely stream yourself, shoot us the link, we'll shout you out, and we'll follow your races. We will commentate your races if you are willing to participate in the Glintendo circuit. Bring not that weak stuff into the house. We got some of the best talent in the Mario Kart world coming out on a consistent basis. Tell them about Fusion.EXE, Ajax.
Oh, you already know. We had a great one this past Monday, and don't worry, you get to see every single Monday. Once again, another not region locked event. You can check that out. Make sure you register by 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. It is a free online bracket to enter every single Monday. It is shared onto Collision Smash. Check that out on smash.gg/fusion. One of the other great tournaments we have hosted by the Tri-State Area's finest zone. And it is a great event to see. As you saw last Monday, we saw a great grand finals between Hungrybox and Mr. Brody Lee, a grand finals of Jigglypuff versus DDD. Not something you're normally used to seeing, but what a set it was. And that is only happening on Fusion.EXE, of course. Make sure you check it out. So this is, again, a great night. I had a lot of fun. I had a blast. I'm glad that I was able to do this once again. Thank you, Chris, once again for extending the invitation. And, of course, Stu, I miss you guys so much. Like, words cannot be put into place that say how much I miss live events and seeing everybody and being able to see, just even if it's a home away, like, just from home, getting the opportunity to cast you once again, it was a great time, man.
Absolutely. No, look, the pleasure is all ours, Ajax. Thank you for coming along, and thank you, chat, for being here. We know that the world is just a little bit crazy, and the only thing that we can do is be our best selves. So my challenge to you is do something nice for a stranger tomorrow. So shout outs to all of you. Be good and keep fighting the good fight. And until we meet again, thank you and happy smashing.